Jacob's brides has prophecy that will blow your mind. It is so magnificent you will not believe what you hear, but it's true. That fact that he didn't love Leah as much as Rachel, you cannot believe it. It was her tragedy. But God has turned her tragedy to the greatest blessing imaginable, because between her and her counterpart, her sister, her kindred, Rachel and Jacob, runs a prophecy that is the sweetest words to the human ear imaginable. So let's go there. Right, now Jacob is the one that loves Rachel. There's a prophecy there. Right, remember he worked very hard to have her, and then he got Leah, the one that he didn't want, the one that he didn't seek to have, but she came, and she came first, before he could attain Rachel. That's a prophecy. It's part of a prophecy that goes way greater and deeper than what we're going to go into this video. But first, hear this.
First, you need to understand the meaning of Jacob in prophecy.
Jacob means the heel catcher, the supplanter. And it is derived from the way that he was first seen. He was the one that was holding on to his brother's heel. What's his brother's name again? Esau, the advance, and he's the red one, the advance of the red. And a heel, if you think about a human heel, it is a swelling. He is holding on to the utmost extremity, the swelling of red. Who was catching, who was holding on to the utmost end, the extremity in order to supplant? Jesus held on to the utmost extremity of blood, which is death, in order to supplant. He overcome death. He's the one that loved, that desired, that yearned for the coming of Rachel.
Now you need to understand whom Rachel referenced in prophecy. Hear this.
Rachel in Raham has a tie with the womb, also with mercy. And she is tied with the sheep, the ewe. Right? In sheep, we have a prophecy of migration. In the root meaning of that word in Hebrew, you find migration, and you can see that in the literal. Sheep tend to migrate as they graze. Jesus loved the migration. He yearns for the coming of the migration. Therefore, he's holding on to the utmost extremity of the blood testimony. Because by doing that, he opens our migration into heaven, the womb of mercy. God can give us mercy, because he's taken the death instead of us. The most beautiful love in the world. Aren't you glad? The one that holds on to the extremity of blood loves, yearns for the coming of the womb of mercy and migration to us. God is awesome.
In order to get the womb of mercy, the migration to come, he received what he didn't desire, and she came first.
But then, in order to have her, what he didn't want, what was not desired, was the coming of Leah. Leah ties with grievous, growing faint, weary, going into the fainting. There came a tremendous grief to Jesus, remember? Gethsemane? Remember the grief that got so extreme that he was going into slowing and slowing, see him carrying the cross, falling down under the weight of that, in the escalation of the grief and the weariness that culminated in his death, fainting, going down to him, death is but sleep. He rose. He got that to the side because he yearned for the womb of mercy and migration. Because Jesus wanted us to have resurrection, migration into heaven and mercy. He wanted that to be achieved. In order to get that, Leah, that grief, that culmination into falling, needed to come first. First, he had to take care of the death in order to give us the mercy. God needed to take care of the death verdict which stands so that we can have mercy. He loves mercy, and thus he had to take the death on himself. She was the unloved one, but she was the necessary one, and she speaks prophetic words that will blow your mind. By God's grace, we will speak about the depth of this prophecy. It is the most beautiful words imaginable. That all four women involved in the birthing of these children speaks. God is awesome. He has gone through utmost extremities. And even this, it's humanly impossible. Only God can write like this. Know the truth thereof. The Bible is God's word, and He opens it now so that you can be strong, because we're in the end time. His testimony is going to be attacked. It's already the case. He is the only way. The Bible is about Him who loves you to the point of death and beyond. There is none